Hey guys, Capricorn new moon 2024. Here we are. I hope you're ready for it. This new moon is really functioning as a pretty significant energetic turning point. Things are about to start happening. They're about to start moving forward, accelerating very quickly and probably in a somewhat unpredictable fashion. Momentum building, action happening, things being initiated. This is the season that we are in right now. And as we move forward, we're going to see a lot of transformation, a lot of big changes take place, and things are probably not going to look the same after we go through this period of time. We've got a ton of astrology to talk about, you guys. I'm talking about like 10, 11 different things that I'm looking at in the context of this chart. However, it is all boiling down to these very simple themes: turning point, new beginnings. So if you don't want to go into all the in-depth astrology, just coming away with the understanding that we are entering a period of time right now that is functioning as a turning point. Things that have not been moving forward are really about to start moving forward. There is a level of sort of destiny that is being unlocked right now as we are being called through a process of personal transformation with the ultimate purpose of being very self-empowering in some type of a way. We have Pluto entering Aquarius this lunar cycle. A couple of days later, we have Uranus ruling Aquarius, stationing direct in the sky. Transformation and change, you guys. Pluto and Uranus, the all-star players, with a sprinkle of North Node Aries Mars energy that is actually being amplified by Jupiter this cycle. We also have Saturn as a midpoint in a beautiful Mars-Jupiter trine that I was just referencing, which is stabilizing things. We are, on one hand, going through a process of some things falling away right now. Pluto is death and rebirth energy, right? But on the other hand, what we're working on, what we're putting time and energy to, what we are bringing into fruition right now, laying the foundations for the new direction that our life is headed in this new phase of life that this turning point is indicating. So for all of us in some way, you guys, moving forward, some type of personal change is going to happen that's going to like shift the path or trajectory that we feel like we've been moving down. So expect the unexpected and prepare to get taken on a ride, all right? This is a very fast-paced, like hypercharged, like vroom vroom type of energy that we are moving towards, and that is manifesting in alignment with our new moon in Capricorn. And I'm gonna tell you guys all the reasons why. There's literally multiples of repetitions in the patterning coming through in relation to the energy right now, indicating essentially like the very same thing. Okay, so I'm actually going to start this report just by giving you guys a rundown of all of the transits and all the different patterns that I'm looking at in terms of the energy that we have coming through in alignment with the natal chart of our new moon in Capricorn. And then I'm going to go through each one of them and explain why I am drawing this information from this particular set of data, transit, numerology, symbolism, whatever. We're going to be talking about all of it. Number one, you guys, first of all, and I want to say this up front, I'm talking about how it's like ready, set, go energy. Things are really about to start moving forward, and the position of the new moon itself in terms of Sabian symbol placement. For those of you who are new to my channel, one of the things I look at when I'm interpreting astrology is a set of symbols, which are called the Sabian symbols. There is one for each and every one of the 360 degrees of the zodiac. And whenever I personally am looking at a chart and trying to figure out what it's trying to tell us, I like to have as much information as possible, and so I like to use the symbolism associated with the degree placements. I just feel like they give us an additional layer of information to apply to whatever interpretation we're making, right? And 21, and when we read the Sabian symbols, we always round up to the next higher degree because we read the wave of energy that's coming in, not the wave of energy that is like dissipating and flowing out. So the new moon itself is happening at exactly 20 degrees, 44 minutes. I think I wrote 40 minutes on here. It's 20 degrees, 44 minutes of Capricorn. And so we're going to be looking at the Sabian symbol for 21 degrees of Capricorn. And that Sabian symbol is a relay race, all right? So we are taking the baton from a higher power, this Capricorn cycle, this turning point, and we are moving forward with some velocity, with some speed, and we got a destination that we're trying to get to, okay? So we have that, the symbolism in and of itself, speaking specifically about a race that is underway. So we know we're picking up momentum, and we are, we're moving to, it's not just like reckless speed though, it's, a relay race. We are moving towards a destination, towards some type of a goal, whatever the momentum like is pushing us towards right now, like there's some purpose behind it that is gonna like do something for us somehow, okay? So just right off the bat, the symbolism is pretty specific in terms of, the basic vibe of how energy is likely to be operating, moving throughout this lunar cycle. Now, this is also a cardinal cycle. We'll talk about that, action-oriented time of year. It is also an exact square to the nodes of the moon, destiny and karma, the past and the future. Breakthroughs are happening, okay? Things are moving forward. The North Node, interestingly enough, is also at a very specific point in the sky right now, known as the Eris point, and this is also a degree that can have a lot to do with very like climactic and action-oriented things that are like on the brink of taking place. So I'm drawing a little bit of information from the specific placement of the North Node, the destiny point in the exact square to the moon as well, and we'll be talking about that. The new moon is also almost an exact trine to Uranus, 1 degree out of exact trine to Uranus. This is, the Great Awakener, so we've got that. There's also an exact Jupiter-Mars trine going on in the sky. Mars ruling the position of the North Node right now, which is in the exact square to the moon. And Saturn ruling the Capricorn cycle itself. Saturn is the ruler of Capricorn, so Saturn is ruling our current lunar cycle. Saturn is basically exact midpoint to this really huge energy Mars-Jupiter trine. That is kind of big business right now that we're going to be talking about as well. And what else do we have going on? Oh, the numerology. This is happening on January 11th, 111. To me, a set of 3 ones. This is new beginnings. This is creative potential in like a brand new direction somehow. This is forces coming together to create some type of fresh start. And we're also talking about Mercury in a conjunction to the galactic center for our new moon. We also have an exact Venus Chiron trine. This is, telling its own story that is playing into the changes and the transformations that are going on now. And of course, we also have Pluto at 29 degrees of Capricorn, finishing up a 15-year transit of the sign of Capricorn, about to enter the sign of Aquarius over the next couple of days and within this new moon in Capricorn window. So all of those things, tons of transits, tons of exact transits. This is another thing that's saying whenever there's a lot going on in astrology, it usually translates into like a very busy energy, like a lot going on in our lives, a lot going on in the world, almost to a point where we can barely keep up. So, I'm going to try to stay as organized as possible throughout the course of this report. But there's just a lot of information. And again, though, it can be simplified down to these very basic themes. This turning point, it's likely also we're dealing with a lot of earth energy. So, all things related to like money and business, government, stuff like that, like material possessions, even like land or resources, assets and stuff like that could be major themes. Also like partnerships, like work arrangements, business deals and stuff like that could be major themes that are coming up this cycle. But again, ultimately, this is a process of change. This is a process of transformation in the sign of Capricorn, new beginnings in relation to authority. I honestly think, another sort of point that we could boil all this down to is the beginning of a process of the breakdown in traditional authority of all kinds as well. And we're going to be talking about that. So now that I've kind of stated the basic data of the chart, where, when, degree placement, and all of the transits and stuff that we have going on in association with this, I want to get into more detail, and we're going to start talking about the fact that this is a cardinal cycle, okay? Or actually, let's talk about the numerology first. Again, it's happening on January 11th, 2024. When I look at that date, ready, 11124, I'm seeing a couple different things. First of all, like I mentioned earlier, the 111, whenever I see a set of 111s, a triplicity of ones anywhere, in terms of any like numerology that I'm interpreting or just like in the world, whatever, I always see that as an indication of some type of new beginning, like on the verge or on the way. Or 3 is also a very creative number, so there's like it's like a creative force that is initiating some type of new beginning, or just like a creative new start to something. Somehow it's like this very lively, like energy generating beginning. Okay, so the fact that this is happening on the 11th with the 111, I'm like, okay, you know, new beginnings, you're very clear in your emphasis, universe. And then the 2-4, you know, 1 to a 2, that doubles, 2 to a 4, that doubles. So momentum, speed, acceleration, things building quickly from whatever new beginning we are establishing at this point in time. So that's how I'm reading the numerology associated with this. Now, I also said the Sabian symbol placement, a relay race, like, that's very interesting, very telling. This is a very, very, as I said, kind of like divinely oriented, divinely guided, like the cosmic blueprint truly coming into fruition, fate being unlocked and destiny being activated period of time right now. And the relay race, it's like we are receiving the guidance, we are taking the baton, like I said earlier, from the higher power, and like carrying forth with this like divinely inspired mission perhaps that we feel, or like soul calling that we just know is where we're going next. So major personal transformations, you guys, the relay race. And it's also interesting, the position of the earth. That Sabian symbol is a prima donna singing, okay? So we have a relay race and we have a prima donna singing. Like, this is like a period of momentum that is guiding us towards shining our light, okay, in the most simplistic terms. And I do think, you know, that is what this energy is unlocking within us, or helping us to discover, or helping us to move towards, regardless of the way that is transpiring with all this Uranus energy as well. So we have the Sabians, we have the date, and we have the big aspect, well, one of them that's associated with this, the exact square between the new moon itself at 21 Capricorn and the nodes of the moon at 21 degrees of Aries and Libra. This is a cardinal square. This is also throwing things back to our new moon in Cancer cycle that happened last July, when the nodes had just entered Aries and Libra, and we had a grand cross new moon. So there could be some things that came up or coming up now relating back to this past July when we had that new moon going on. But this is like huge, you guys. Like, this is another, we're in the cardinal cycle, action-oriented phase of year. I can't remember if I talked about cardinal. I don't think I talked about cardinal energy yet. Cardinal cycles. This is, we've got 4 of them. This is Aries, Libra, Cancer, and Capricorn. Cardinal energy initiates things. Whenever we're in our Capricorn, Cancer, Aries, or Libra cycle each year, this is, you know, usually when action is happening. The cardinal cycles are also in alignment with the solstices and the equinoxes. They represent the birth of the new season. Again, like changes happening, action happening to transition us from, you know, the previous season. It's the beginning of this new time. So it's their cardinal cycles are always just like very active seasons and active times of year. So we've got that. We've got the 111 going on with the 2 and the 4. We've got the Sabians, okay? And now, you know, as I've already been talking about, we have the square to the nodes. The north node is the destiny point. This is, you know, when we're talking about a collective north node, this is like the collective evolution, that evolutionary path that we're all being called towards right now. Like, these are like the next lessons that we have to learn. This is where we're going, whether we like it or not. A lot of times the north node energy can be a bit like impulsive and out of control, but we got to get there. The south node, this is karma. This is the past. This is actually what we are detaching, letting go of, releasing. And if we continue to stay attached to it or hold on to it, it will prevent us from going through the next phase of growth, going through the lessons of the North Node, gaining that next phase of evolution associated with that. Right now, we have the North Node in the sign of Aries, ruled by Mars, the South Node in the sign of Libra, ruled by Venus. Ever since this nodal polarity has come into effect, since this past summer, there has been an energetic charge towards taking back personal power and asserting ourselves on some new course of action, some mission, some, independent journey. And it could also very much be a healing journey, because we have Chiron currently right now in the sign of Aries as well. We're going to have a North Node Chiron conjunction this year. Chiron is also featured in our new moon chart because of an exact trine to Venus, which we'll talk about as we get to the end of this report. But, that is where destiny is calling us right now, is Aries, the Aries archetype. The hero, the warrior, like on a mission, saving the day, the knight in shining armor, like here to, save the day in our own story, to, give us the courage and the strength to move forth in this new direction, in this independent mission to complete or accomplish whatever destiny is calling us towards right now. South Node in the sign of Libra. This is requiring us to detach ourselves from the identity of the past that we've associated ourselves with, based on perhaps our relationships, or, the images or the facades, or, what we've needed to do to maintain the balance, or to maintain the peace, or to maintain the harmony. We've got to let go of kind of, who we used to be in order to answer the call of our soul and step into this phase of personal empowerment, this leadership era, I've been calling it, as we, go through this period of time with the North Node transiting the sign of Aries. And with it being in the exact square to the moon, like, this is a breakthrough point, right? These are fated new beginnings that are coming in. We have a mission that we need to undergo right now. And the North Node is also happens to be at this very climactic, action-oriented point in the sky when we have the exact square coming in from our cardinal new moon cycle with the 111 and the relay race degree, the Eris point. Okay, if you guys watched my January overview, I went more in depth about this degree and about what I feel like the North Node at this degree at this point in time could be indicating, sort of in the grander scheme of things. However, for those of you who are not familiar with the mythology, Eris is the goddess of discord. Eris throws the apple of discord, and on one hand, it exposes a lot of people's true colors, but on the other hand, it sort of leads to the fall of Troy and the Trojan War. So the point in the sky where the North Node is right now, the Eris point, is in and of itself this degree that is talking about sort of like things being shown for what they really are, and also like the downfall of long reigns of power and control based on perhaps, what is discovered in that process. Very, very interesting. However, the Sabian symbol for the Eris point, that Sabian symbol, 21 degrees of Aries, is a boxer entering the ring. So whether we're looking at it from the mythological perspective, or whether we're looking at it from the, symbolic perspective, there are indications that, of sort of like contention, maybe, some contests may be going on, but things definitely at a point where there's no longer any hold back. Something's happening, like the show's about to start, like we're getting things going, okay? And then, aside from the exact square to the North Node, as I mentioned, we also have the new moon in nearly exact trine to Uranus as well. This is really going to be stimulating things. This might be a lunar cycle where you are just feeling like your nerves are fried. Like things might just be happening so fast, like you might feel like you're spinning at some point. This is a very electrified atmosphere. There could be a lot of sort of like anxiety and nervous tension, but things are just likely, like this is the trine to Uranus. It awakens things, it stimulates things, and it creates change, and it creates a sense of excitement. This energy is also energy that facilitates an alignment with destiny, with potential, with the cosmic plan, with the future that hasn't happened yet. Uranus is a planet and Aquarius is a sign that has a lot to do with the future that has not yet come to pass. because Uranus is the galactic fixer. Uranus puts things right. One of the fundamental functions of this energy is to rearrange things and make the changes for us perhaps we haven't been able to make for ourselves in order to facilitate the unfolding of that proper future. So there's likely to be quite an electrical charge to things going on right now. You might spontaneously just, epiphanies, flashes of insight, sudden downloads, things just kind of hitting you out of nowhere, light bulb moments, feeling also just like very electrified, maybe like overstimulated. This is why I was saying, you guys, if you guys watched my January report and like moving through the first week of January, I was like, slow down if you can. Don't feel like you need to like run head first into things right now. Take your time, pace yourself, because we've got this relay race and things are really gonna pick up and they could feel just like they're like spinning a bit out of our control as we move through this period of time. Again, bringing it back to what I had mentioned earlier, and I'm going to talk more about as we get to the end of this report. I feel like this is also indicating a period of time where there is likely to be breakdowns in authority and in control, moving from control systems, moving forward, traditional authority and control systems, I should say, moving forward throughout the course of this year and this lunar cycle. So the Uranus trine, like that's also real significant. Uranus, of course, is a planetary influence that is playing a significant role throughout the course of this entire lunar cycle, because Pluto's entering Aquarius, ruled by Uranus, and Uranus is stationing direct. When a planet stations in the sky, it really amplifies the energy of that planet. We are moving into some very, very strong Uranus energy, and the fact that the new moon is in a 1 degree off trine to Uranus. I love that it's a trine. This is good surprises. This is like, you might, honestly, I'm going to be honest, like, you might have trouble sleeping. You might have trouble calming down. We've had a very like depressed energy over this past couple months. And when I say depressed, I don't mean like depression, like, like depression, like sad. I mean like all the squares to Neptune that I've been like yammering on and on and on about, that have been like such a little bit of a nuisance. They've been just sort of like depleting or, like eroding kind of like our get up and go, you know what I mean? Like our enthusiasm or our excitement, or like our feeling like things are moving in the right direction, or like our even like, desire to make things happen and stuff like that. We've got a lot of Neptune squares going on. It's really difficult to be sort of like enthusiastic and excited about the physical world and life and stuff, because Neptune is just so like avoidant, and just it's hard for things to happen when we've got squares to Neptune going on. Neptune is also like the dream, right? And sleep and everything to do with like the unconscious. And this Uranus energy, this is the exact opposite of that. This is the spark, this is the light bulb, this is the awakening, this is the alarm clock going off. So I'm telling you guys, like, if people are probably spontaneously going to be like waking up one morning and like shaking their head, like shaking the cobwebs out, or like cleaning their eyes or whatever, and be like, whoa, I'm suddenly seeing things in Technicolor and I didn't even realize that I was seeing the world in black and white. You know what I mean? Like that type of thing. For example, I don't know, it's Uranus, so who freaking knows how this is gonna go? But it really does feel like an energized mind, an electrified mind, or like, our entire mind is based on these electrical synapses and the Uranian energy. And Mercury's also at the galactic center. That's another one, you guys. Like, not only do we have the trine to Uranus, which is waking us up, Mercury's also conjunct the galactic center and is moving past the square to Neptune. Mercury at the galactic center, you guys, like wisdom prevails. This is divine insight. This is also energizing our mind. The galactic center. And I talk about this all the time, and I don't want to use this video to go into like my big discourse about the galactic center energy and where we're at in the, the grand cycles of time and the yugas and the dark ages and all that. But, it is meaningful to me that Mercury, the mind, is getting that charge, receiving that, as close as we can get at this point in time, emanation from the galactic center. while we've got the Uranian awakening going on, like there should be something that is sparking within us. Like this is, to me, like we're talking about the turning point. The turning point into what, Aubrey? The turning point into the Great Awakening. The turning point into suddenly becoming aware that there's something more for us to do, that we have a purpose, or that we have a level of potential that we had been sleeping on ourselves. And now all of a sudden it's like blaring at us, beep beep, like this alarm clock, and we can't hide from it anymore, and we've like got to take the reins and go in that direction, even if it means upsetting the peace somehow in terms of what we've always defined ourselves by. Like there it is, you guys, like that's the quintessential pattern, the way that this energy is coming through. Now, let's move on from the Uranian energy. Let's talk about this Mars-Jupiter square. Like, it's exact, and it's in Earth signs. This is a huge influx of action and of energy generating momentum to move things forward. We got a 1-1-1, 2-4 doubling. We've got a relay race, right? We've got a square to the nodes. We've got a trine to Uranus. Uranus is also lightning speed. This is things happening so fast and so unpredictable. And then, you know, what drives action, you guys? And also the square to the nodes. The nodes, the north node in the sign of Aries. Aries is ruled by Mars. So it's all about this breakthrough into this new beginning. But Mars is the energy that is guiding the breakthrough, that is motivating the breakthrough towards this new beginning. And Mars is what? Mars is in an exact trine with Jupiter, the great benefic, the planet ruling truth, wisdom, freedom, the planet that supersizes everything, success, blessings, good fortune. That's why I'm saying, you guys, first of all, you know, this is going to bring very expanded energy levels. We're going to have a lot of like gusto, willpower, courage, motivation, confidence, faith, belief in ourselves and in the higher plan. Mercury, the galactic center, trusting God, having faith, trusting the process, knowing. That's another thing about the planet Uranus, has a lot to do with knowing things are happening according to a higher plan. Things are happening in divine timing. Everything is going right, even if we may not necessarily be able to perceive it as such in this moment, but things are definitely happening in a big way. This is also wise action, right? This is doing things in the right way. And Saturn, who is the ruler of this Capricorn cycle, Saturn rules Capricorn, as an exact midpoint in between these two planets, stabilizing growth, securing success, laying new foundations. Change is supported, growth in new directions is supported. This action that we're taking with the Mars-Jupiter energy, this is supported, and what we begin now is laying foundations for this next phase, this next chapter, this next experience that we are, you know, about to encounter, and it's going to be radically different and ultimately much more empowering than any experience or any version of ourselves that we have experienced in the past or up until this point in time. Era of the self-actualized individual in service to the greater whole via their unique personal contribution, knowledge, skill, understanding, creativity. This is the age of Aquarian energy that we are moving into. The seeds of that energy are going to begin to grow within all of us right now, and you know, whatever plant we're meant to become, like that's the direction that we are about to start heading in, okay? This is when we are being driven to find ourselves, to find our purpose, and step into our own personal leadership era in our own lives. This moon with the Mars trine Jupiter situation is giving us, like I said earlier, what we need to make this happen. The trust and faith in ourselves, the confidence, the courage, the strength, and the recognition of the role of a higher power in our processes right now as well. Again, you know, broken record, this is the turning point, you guys. Change is about to start happening. Expect it, prepare for it, embrace it. Honestly, like, a lot of people have been living for this moment and they don't even know it yet. This is big stuff that we're moving towards. What else do I have to say? We've talked about Mercury in the galactic center. Let's finish up talking about Venus and her trine to Chiron. Then we'll throw it back to Pluto at 29 Capricorn. I got a little bit more symbolism to talk about and some general themes. And then we will wrap up and we'll grab a synchronicity card as well. Venus trining Chiron. You guys, again, like, whenever there's a strong Chiron influence, Chiron also translates into, you know, value and wealth. With all this earth energy and an exact Venus also about value, wealth, worth, money, Chiron, wealth, worth, money, trine. There is definitely something financial, economic, resource, asset, material based that's going to be going on this cycle. Honestly, I kind of, with the Mars Jupiter trine, expect to see markets pumping a bit. Inflation is something that we're really going to need to be aware of as well at this point in time, especially, I mean, obviously in terms of like the financial aspect of things, but inflated value of things generally could be, you know, one of the other dimensions of this Mars Jupiter Earth sign trine that we have going on. And we'll talk about that, you guys, as we move through this new moon cycle. We'll talk about this energy in more detail as it's hitting on a day-to-day basis. I don't want to like make this video so long and just get so in depth in all of the details of all of this transits in this new moon overview, but we'll be going into, you know, all of this and the greater impacts that it's likely produced in the world and in our own lives, and like all the different facets of the way this energy, this cycle can manifest. But inflating value, Mars, Jupiter, you know, having very, very, very high expectations for things, while there, you know, is a great chance of success with things right now, there could also just be this like inflation that's going on. So just, you know, something to be aware of as we move through this period of time. Not necessarily a bad thing, just something that could be with Mars trine Jupiter in earth signs. But back to the Venus Chiron trine, aside from the dimension of this energy that is likely to bring things to do with like money, wealth, worth, resources, you know, assets, precious metals also could be something here. Heart healing, you guys. Chiron is the wounded healer teacher, has to do with, you know, healing. And Venus is also the heart, healing from old relationship wounds, relationship traumas that have held us back in the past. The south node, right? The new moon is in a square to the north node. Yes, we're breaking through, you know, in a new direction on this new path to, you know, recreate our future. But the south node, this is in Libra, ruled by Venus. Okay, we are changing the way that we, you know, relate to ourselves and others, essentially. And a facet of this may be going through a process of healing some old wounds that occurred as a result of relationships and kept us in a certain box, or kept us attached to like social situations or partnerships, or, you know, even images or versions of ourselves or facades that are, you know, not who we truly are, but rather an outcome of the unhealed trauma or the pain that we've been through, or maybe being in a state of victimhood because of something that we've been through in relationships. With Venus in the trine to Chiron in association with this new moon, it's like something about, you know, how things are transpiring, or the changes that are going on, or what we're awakening to, you know, maybe the flashes of insight that are hitting us, or, you know, what we're inspired by, or what we're moving forward towards, what we're working on. Like some element of that is gonna do something to heal us on a heart-based level as well, to help us overcome previous states of victimhood, to help us release perhaps some of this baggage or some of this trauma that we've been carrying that has kept us attached to this old version of ourselves that maybe settled for less than what we are realizing our true value is now. Okay, this is reassessing our personal value and being ready to let go of anything that would keep us bound to the old version that is just not who we are identifying with any longer. Okay, so huge element, heart healing, valuable wisdom to be gained through this process as well. I personally view Chiron as like the master archetype. I think that, you know, when we go through the Chiron related experiences, the soul alchemy, right, transmuting states of victimhood into these, you know, states of self-mastery derived from wisdom through experience, the hero's journey associated with that. It really does bring us to this place of self-mastery. So I generally think of Chiron in association with the master archetype. So wisdom, self-mastery, maybe gaining a sense of self-mastery in terms of the way we're relating to ourselves and others, or just coming to, have a greater sense of self-worth or sense of self-value, maybe because we're healing some of these wounds. But there's something to do with healing old wounds, healing heart wounds, releasing relationship trauma that is directly tied into our ability to make this breakthrough, to move forward into this new direction, to seize the day, to seize the destiny that is calling us forth right now. So I feel like that is a significant piece of the puzzle coming through as well. We're talking also, let's talk about Pluto, 29 degrees of Capricorn. Pluto breaks things down, right? Pluto at 29 degrees of Capricorn, Saturn, this represents the material world. Okay, as I said, I feel like this is a period of time where a process of breakdown in traditional, Saturn Capricorn authority, Saturn Capricorn of all kinds is underway. And it's also interesting, I've been picking this up, I've been just kind of feeling like this. I've been, as we move through this energy, we'll talk about it, but we're actually moving into a period of time in 2025 where Saturn is going to lose his rings. Saturn's rings will disappear. And, to me, one of the fact that Saturn is the ringed planet, like this has a lot to do with the archetype of control and of restraint and of structure and of limitation. Like Saturn is held within the rings, right? Following the rules, following authority, form, structure, control, these Saturnian themes. 2025, Saturn's going to lose his rings for a period of time in association with this energy that we're moving through now. Pluto entering Aquarius, like disintegration of structure and control, authority, government. Again, like we are about to see some major shifts in power structures. The Eris point, right, where the North Node is. In the mythology, Eris throws the apple of discord that ultimately leads to the Trojan War, which ultimately leads to the fall of Troy, which was an empire that reigned for like 4,000 years or something like that. So it's just kind of this epic times, right? Epic energies. It'll be really interesting to see what happens. 29 degrees of the sign of Capricorn. 29 is a critical degree, as it is the last degree in any sign. We've got the destroyer and the regenerator there. So great rectification is underway, you guys. Like seriously, very transformative period of time. The power and control structures of the past, likely to reigns of power and control, long-standing legacies of power and control, very much likely to undergo some type of fated, cosmically aligned downfall and regeneration over this period of time. And it's moving from the Saturnian energy of that power, of that control, as Saturn's literal rings disappear for a while there. And, the new moon in the trine to Uranus, Pluto entering Aquarius, Uranus stationing direct, the great rectifier, the one who puts things right, the galactic fixer. Pluto Aquarius, this is empowering the individual with knowledge, purpose, potential, and, the reign of air energy. We're moving from the reign of earth energy to the reign of air energy. The symbolism associated with it is crazy too. The position of Pluto at 29 Capricorn, the Sabian symbol is 30 Capricorn. That Sabian symbol is a secret meeting of men responsible for world affairs. And the position of Uranus right now, 20 degrees of Taurus, wisps of wing-like clouds streaming across the sky. So it's literally, the breakdown, right? Pluto, the destroyer of the epicenters of power and control from the legacies of the past, the ages of the past, transferred to the individual as a result, and empowering the individual as a result of the knowledge, potential, and purpose associated with the Aquarian archetype, the age of awareness, the age of knowledge, the age of information, and ultimately self-actualization, co-creation as we move forth towards the new golden age that is pending over this course of this next 12 years, or 12,000 years. So the time has come, you guys, to become who we've always been meant to be. And, you know, humanity creates the age of Aquarius. One of the primary themes of this channel is narrating the shift of the ages, talking about how the energy is hitting and affecting us now and the impact that is having on us as individuals in our process of actually creating the age of Aquarius. We create this transition and shift ultimately ourselves through the way that we respond, react, evolve, and change in accordance with the new frequencies that are coming in now. We changed ourselves, we changed the way we interact with reality, and that over time, you know, changes the entire paradigm, and it's based on the shifts in these energetic and electric impulses coming to us, the way that they're stimulating our synapses, and what we are doing, becoming, thinking, being aware of, understanding, and, you know, therefore acting and, you know, conducting our reality. As a result of that, we all have a role to play in this grand unfolding cosmic drama that is upon us right now, leading us forward. And this moon, you guys, is awakening us to that potential, to that purpose, and pushing us in that direction. And we are really about to start accelerating. Like, there's no going back after this. This is the quickening phase, right, of the conscious evolution of humanity being spoken about specifically through this square to the nodes, the destiny point, the square. You know, we're breaking through, we're making progress. Also, like I said, you know, things that may have started to get going or we'd been working on getting going maybe this past summer, finally finding their footing and like taking off. But don't be surprised if things just start happening fast, things start happening unpredictably, and they seem like a little bit out of control. This is the new normal, you guys. I think that this is generally, you know, the way that energy is going to be functioning this year and moving forward, and it's going to be quite startling at first, but I think that we will, you know, have no choice essentially but to get used to it. So that's what I have to say about our Capricorn new moon, you guys. Should be a wild ride ahead. I am very grateful that you guys are here with me going on this journey as we narrate the shift of the ages. And come back, stay tuned this month, because we've got a lot of big stuff coming, a lot of stuff to talk about, and the more consciously aware we can be of you know, just what's sort of playing out on the more energetic levels as these big time energies hit, I feel like is definitely going to benefit us. And honestly, I think that more and more people are going to start finding benefit in kind of like astrology and energy reading and stuff too, as like to sort of like serve or fill the need of trying to figure out and understand like what the heck is going on. Because I am telling you guys, reality is about to get stranger than fiction. As this control breaks down, right? 2024 into 2025, you know, I've been talking about these themes of hyper novelty. That comes about as a result of what happens in the void, in the absence of, you know, the way that things have always been. So, and you know, this Uranian energy that we're moving towards with the Pluto power behind it, revolutionary times, you guys. Crazy innovations, sci-fi world, like inventions are about to come that just are mind-blowing. And very, very, very powerful information. So I'm going to stop talking now. We'll get into all of that and more. Follow me on my daily videos, you guys. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I post new videos guiding us energetically through our week. So you don't want to miss those. Let's grab a synchronicity card now. God, Spirit, Universe. What do we need to know for the month? You guys, Mercury at the galactic center, the moon squaring the nodes, Uranus the galactic fixer. What do you think the card says? It says trust. we are trusting the process, and we're going to be able to do that because I'm telling you, this Mars-Jupiter trine with Mercury at the galactic center is going to reinstill like a sense of trust in ourselves and in something bigger than ourselves. And this is what we need to keep in mind throughout the course of this cycle. Okay, it says trust also in him, Psalm 37:5. Trust in God to lead you to the person you need to fulfill your needs. Make certain you are the type of person that person would wish to associate with. Make certain you have defined your needs and desires before you make your request. Remember, all things are possible through God. So right, we are building ourselves right now. Also, Mars rules the self. Trine Jupiter in the sign of the builder. We are building ourselves up to go on this new journey, to become this new version of ourselves, to redefine ourselves in alignment with this higher purpose. And we are trusting the process all the while. And as we go through, you guys hear the train, and as we go through this process, we will become the person that will attract everything that we need to like validate, secure, and create a sense of fulfillment in the experience. You know, the Jupiter energy, it's promising abundance, fulfillment, truth, freedom, and just like a genuine feeling of like, I have succeeded, I have done something, I have conquered something, I have planted something, I have established something. You know what I mean? Like, that's where we're going, and we are this month becoming the person that is required in order to make that happen. So trust the process, you guys. If you guys like this video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, share it with your friends if you think that they also would like to narrate the shift of the ages with us. Leave me comments, you guys. I'm so grateful for all of you. Your feedback is super valuable to me. I really appreciate knowing what's going on out there with you guys. If you're having experiences that line up with what I'm talking about in these videos, please let me know in my comment section below if you want to know what's on this whiteboard. I have a Facebook group where I post those, and Jana Shalman also posts the synchronicity cards there. Thank you so much, Jana. And come back with me, you guys. Next video, we will have a weekend video to get into, and we've just got lots of this big January astrology to talk about. So I'll be here. You should be here too. You don't want to miss it, and I will see you next time, guys. Have a beautiful new moon, and until then, bye.